Ben is one of the founders of Blue Ocean Wealth Management, which is a financial advisory firm based in Melbourne that helps business owners and their families build and manage long-term wealth. We've been working with Ben and his team since early 2023 to build and manage their online presence and ensure that all their touch points have the credibility required to work in the financial services industry. In this short video, I sat down with Ben to talk about his experience getting their business online, the importance of social proof and high quality media in building great websites, and lastly, how we help his business day to day. Hope you enjoy. Hey, Ben, thanks so much for joining us today. Could you start by introducing yourself and Blue Ocean Wealth?
Yep. So my name is Ben. I'm the co-director of a wealth management firm down in Melbourne called Blue Ocean Wealth Management. We service predominantly professionals and business owners in all things regarding their wealth. So
Awesome.
it's fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, you have a couple of business partners with you, Ben, that you've been working with for a while.
Yeah, so I've got one other business partner, Christian. We've got a small team of about 6 people. And we've also got a vertically integrated, well, not a vertically, we've got a vertical business separate to Blue Ocean Wealth Management. So we've also got we're also getting our own license or our own AFSL.
Awesome. Very good. Now, we actually didn't build the Blue Ocean Wealth website. Could you wind us back? Talk to us about the start of the Blue Ocean Wealth journey, like the V1 of the website and how it ended up being, under Wolf IQ support.
Yeah, so like with any business, when you start out, you really use your website as a point of verification to show that you're actually legitimate. That's really the key thing, and to make sure that you're discoverable on Google if potential clients are looking for you. So we didn't really know where to start when we built our initial website. We'd gone onto something like Wix, quickly built a website. It was a bit of a hodgepodge. And then as the business grew, we realized that we actually wanted something that was reflecting us properly. And so we started putting an effort into actually developing the website. Unfortunately, when you're going through that journey in building the website, you realize that there's a bit of a disconnect between graphic designers or so-called web builders and actually people who do the web building themselves. So I worked together for about a year on the website with the graphic designer, and as great as she wasn't seeing the vision or what we were trying to do. So I ended up doing the whole website myself on PowerPoint presentation, and I just gave it to her to then build. And when you have a graphic designer building the website, it doesn't really work. So the functionality wasn't correct. The spacing, the borders. All of a sudden, you realize that these things that you take for granted in normal websites become problem children. So it was quite problematic with the way that things were progressing. So we received a referral from a good friend of ours who worked in the space, and he knew what he was doing. He had a pretty good website, and so and based on his website, he led us over to you. And so that's where we got to Wolf IQ. So we completed the website with the graphic designer, and then we got Wolf IQ really to build out everything from the functionality to really the being able to accurately build out the vision of the website.
For sure. That gap between being an observer and being a practitioner is huge. I see it not just in websites, but everywhere. You can be in the stands looking at someone do it, but I could do that. And then you actually go out there and try and do it, and you realize just how much mastery it takes to really make something awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And you really take the simple things for granted. So, it almost felt like we were trying to reinvent the wheel, which was really frustrating. But it was good to be guys like you to really kind of bridge that gap and use your expertise to essentially not make it our problem anymore.
Yeah. Well, we love to solve these problems for our customers. Two things that you and Christian had, I think, at the time and have today on the website, which makes our job infinitely easier, is one, great social proof, like raving reviews from people that talk about the service and how much you've helped them.
Well, in saying that, at the time we were very confident. So the way the business has grown is really predominantly through word of mouth. That's generally how we prefer to grow, especially with something that's a little bit more bespoke like wealth management. However, when we consulted you guys, you said, hey, you guys need X amount of Google reviews. You need to make
Yeah,
sure that this is, we know you might have the best products, but if no one's going to talk about it outside their friend group, you're doing yourself a disservice. So after that initial meeting, we then compiled a whole heap of Google reviews. And so we're able to work together with you to actually also increase the SEO as well, because that's also something that you guys consulted us on.
totally. And back when I imagine this happened, people love those reviews, and Google SEO starts to trust us. Even more so today, AI overviews and the
Yep.
Claudes and the Gemini's, Perplexities, they also love those reviews as well. So
Oh,
it also
absolutely.
helps in that AI visibility.
Absolutely.
The second piece I want to talk about, which you and Christian had really well, you and Christian had really well, Ben, was strong media assets. Like the visuals on the site, the photography
Yep.
is really high quality. And you'd be amazed the difference between a website without high quality media and a
Yep.
website with high quality media. It makes all the difference. So having those two things, good social proof and good media, made our job a lot easier.
Oh, absolutely. Very early on in when we were starting off with the business, we heard from another business owner, and they told us that effectively just to get rid of stock footage and to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of stock photos, and you can really tell
Yeah,
between the businesses that not necessarily saying that businesses that care, but um, you can tell the difference between the businesses that care about their online presence and those who don't.
totally.
Or the use case of that business. Oh, sorry, of that website. So, businesses that just have the stock footage, while it's convenient, it doesn't look great, and it doesn't really give you, the end user or the potential client a confident feeling. It just feels like, oh yeah, it's just, kind of a half-assed job. Whereas when you try and get that proper footage in, it looks a lot more bespoke. It looks a lot more personal. It looks like you actually put effort into what you try and do.
100%. And websites are often the first impression people get of their business.
Yeah,
And they're so important just to see authenticity, real people, the owners, the team behind the business. It goes a really long
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Now, today, Ben, we've done a few things for you in our time together.
Yep.
What problem do we solve for you today? And how do you work with Wolf IQ in
Well,
2026?
at the moment, it's predominantly the functionality. The functionality of the website, making sure that it stays up to date. I think we've done everything on WordPress. So there are constant updates, there are constant changes, and it's also making sure that the SEO is still optimized. Well, what that is, what SEO stands for, but it's just making sure that our keywords are optimized. We stay on top of Google search.
Mhm.
Blue Ocean is a pretty common name. We laughed because there was, even though we had reasons behind the name Blue Ocean, there's a company, there's a company in Sydney called Blue Ocean Equities. There's Blue Ocean Financial Services. Then there's even a fish and chip shop in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne called Blue Ocean. So we really needed to make sure that we got on top of those and we got on top of the SEO. So I think that's been one of the key things.
Nice. And what's it been like working with that team, in the day to day?
Seamless. So if we need something done, it's just a quick SMS, quick email, and someone will get back to us within a couple of hours at most. It's most of the time, it's almost immediately.
Amazing. Last question to finish up here. I imagine that hundreds of the people that we serve at Blue Ocean Wealth, who is the target, ideal customer profile that you and Christian can add the most value to?
Um, it really depends. It really depends on the clients. It depends on the situation and what they're going through. So, no, no one problem is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Generally for us, our main type of clients that we tend to attract seem to be business owners looking to move away their wealth from their business into their own personal name. So generally what we find is that most business owners, all their wealth is tied up to an exit strategy. So it's tied up to the business,
Mm-hmm.
and they're relying on that business to provide an exit strategy and to get a significant payout. So it's years of scrounging, it's years of not really paying yourself properly. And generally, what we do is we try and divert some of that income into building up your own assets so that even if the business doesn't work out, you've got your bets hedged effectively. So that's generally who we've been attracting most of the time.
Awesome. And for these business owners out there watching this video, where's the best place for them to learn more about what you and Christian do?
As in with wealth management or in building websites, because that's your
Yeah,
domain.
yeah. With wealth management.
Well, the best bet is speak to friends. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but speak to friends, see what they've done. Speak to the ones where things seem to have worked out. Do your own research. There's a lot of information that's out there. Most of the clients that we generally speak to have already done some research, so they know what we're talking about. But we always find it's a lot more powerful when we're having those discussions when a client actually knows what's going on. And if not, well, then make sure you've got someone who's got the patience and is willing to teach you those things.
Yeah. Awesome, Ben. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Brilliant. Pleasure. Thanks,
See ya.
Andy.